Okay, looks like we're all live on that end. I'll pull up Mel and we'll get ready to go. Hey, you coming through?
Hello?
Hey, there you are.
Okay, there we go. I was like concerned for a second.
I know. Whenever the tablet wouldn't go through earlier, I was freaking losing it. It just kept randomly, like, it'd stay on for 2 minutes and then it'd be like, oh, nope, no signal. Fuck do you mean no signal?
What do you mean no signal? You just had signal.
There's not even a wireless signal to get. You're HDMI'd in, for God's sake. Hello. All right. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to draw today. I really don't. Whenever I announced the stream on Tumblr, I was like, hey, if you guys have art questions, hit me up. And then nobody hit me up.
Oh, no.
Which, I totally get it. It's a Friday night. A bunch of states have reopened themselves, so we're all going to go out and fucking party. But, consider this, I would like some internet peoples.
Well, alright, I can ask for something then.
Well, I figured if, I didn't get any asked or whatever, we could just work on Merjago stuff.
Okay, I thought you were done with the Merjago stuff. I thought you were, a week ahead.
Oh, no. I literally only have for today.
Oh my gosh, what happened? You were, so on it.
I was a week ahead, but then a week passed and I started an internship and here we are. And hello, Scarlet Mist.
Oh my gosh, I gotta look up your channel again because the stupid live stream isn't showing up on YouTube.
God damn it.
For my subscriptions, I mean.
Gotcha.
Diddle doodle, one person watching.
Hey, Rifted. Have a good one. Enjoy being free from school. In a week, I will join all of you in Freedom for School from a month before I have to start another soul-crushing summer class. Let's see. I do have the list pulled up for the rest of Merjago. We've already got Sons of Garmadon member, sketched out at the very least. So we've got that going for us. But we still have a full week plus 1 day that I have not drawn.
Figure out what we were gonna do for those?
I don't know if we ever decided on Dolphin or any of these. I think these are all the leftover ones. We just said Garmadon's Angry Eyes for Volcano.
Right.
And
I thought Oh right, Angry Eyes, Garmadon. Wasn't it always? Wait, I thought Volcano was actually showing off the Oni bit, the Oni form.
oh yeah.
Because you did the silhouette of it for today.
Yeah, and then Volcano was Garmadon getting hella pissed and going Oni because of what happens to Lloyd, right?
Yeah, because he finds Lloyd with Harumi or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. But what are we gonna do for Dolphin?
Catch her cutting Harumi in the background. Oh shit. Or shoot.
Can you imagine effing up that badly?
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, this is Harumi we're talking about.
That is true. Homegirl fucks up on a regular basis when it comes to the Garma fam. I'm gonna get real frustrated today if my internet cuts out. For the last 2 days, my internet has been funky as all hell.
Aw man, that sucks.
Yeah, which the stream will be fine. It's honestly the Discord and the comments that I'm worried about because sometimes my phone just doesn't get the comments. That's why I have my computer open. But if my internet fucks up, we're all gonna be out of luck and I will be sad.
You just gotta believe.
See, I do IT. We don't believe in that shit.
I'm kind of simultaneously eating my dinner at the moment.
Oh,
my
that's a
crustal's
mood.
finally thawed.
Oh, the life of a college student.
A recently graduated college student.
Hey, that is very true. You and I are real adults now. How
I
does
had
it...
to like try to sell myself to my old work when I called them. I was like, hey, I used to work here. I usually come back for the summers, but I know my department doesn't exist anymore. I can still do stuff.
Please hire me. I need a job and I'm willing to work.
Please let me come back.
See, I was so worried I was going to have to go back to my old job here in town whenever shit hit the fan back in March. And luckily I've been able to put that off and now I'm doing that marketing internship. But oh boy, I did not want to have to go back to being a cashier. It was not fun. I don't have the patience for it anymore.
Hey, I don't have the patience for it either. Once I got a taste of salad bar, like minimal customer interaction, only when you felt like it. I never wanted to go back.
Yeah, no, and like the last 6 months of working at the grocery store, I was actually a stalker. And that, talk about minimal customer interaction. For the most part, they just pretend that you're not even there. And the one time you do get asked about something, it's to find a product, so they're always ecstatic when you're able to find it for them.
Being a stalker would be so awesome. I think I'm gonna be stuck doing home shopping.
That's unfortunate.
Hey, Dad, I'm gonna shop for... I'm gonna be doing other people's grocery shopping. And for once, it's not because people are lazy.
Yeah, it'll be like for an actual legitimate reason. So what should we do for Dolphin?
I mean...
You know what?
Could that be the escape?
No. I mean, hear me out. We could work with this together. You know how, like, we talked about Zane and Pix getting to come along because screw it, this is RAU and we get to decide who has a tail?
Oh, so you're saying this, maybe they get some specialty from a certain lady?
Yes, and then this just be, you know, oh my god, we're swimming, there's a dolphin, and just, it's this really fun, pretty, nice shot, to kind of give us a little break from all the angst that I keep making.
Hey girl, totally fair.
Plus, like, Zane and Pix having fun. What more could we ask for?
Corpse Bride AU.
Oh my god, I cannot believe they stole an entire AU.
And they're minor characters.
Yeah, they are such minor characters. They show up for 2 songs, and that's it.
Can I complain here for a second about how short Corpse Bride is?
Oh, please complain. I will complain right alongside you.
The movie is an hour and 15 minutes.
It is so short, and don't get me wrong, I get it. It is one of the earlier puppet animation movies, but for God's sake, I want a full feature-length Corpse Bride movie. I want the extra hour. I want there to be more songs. I want more tension. I have a sneaking suspicion that Emily is related to Victoria's family in some way because, hey, they were basically destitute and she took all the family jewels and gold with her when she got murdered. I want to know!
That is the common theory.
Right? Like, I'm not the only one who sees this.
that, like, Victoria and Emily also look almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I think Emily's only thing is she has big lips, but that could also be, you know, dead body lips. So, yeah.
Again, like, my favorite part, like, conceptually is just, I mean, look at the main character. Like, look at Victor. Like, when do we ever see male characters like this in animation?
Right, I love him. Oh, I just shook the whole camera. I love Victor so much. He's the best. I love the Corpse Bride. Like, just looking at the way that movie is the color grading on that movie. All of it. The land of the living being so drained of color, and then you go to this black lit, beautiful, saturated land of the dead. Like, hell
Because nobody cares.
yes. Hell yes. I don't care how overused of a trope it is to have the land of the living be dull and the land of the dead be bright. It's used often because it's good.
Well, it just worked really well for the movie, too, because...
It really did.
I just wish it was longer. You know, maybe, like, a couple more scenes for Victor and Victoria.
I would love there to be a song between Victor and Victoria. Because I don't think... Does she sing at all in the whole movie?
No, she doesn't!
Where is Victoria's song?
Oh, man, I would've... There's only, like, 4 songs.
See, we deserve more.
Yeah, we totally deserve more. It's like, there's, like, the opening number, and then the best song in the movie, which is the skeleton song.
Amen.
And then the If I Touch a Burning Candle.
Right? The second best song of the whole movie.
Right. And then the last one is like, Our bride is getting married today.
Which is like a really fun song, but it's also like 2 seconds long.
I know! That's the other problem. Is that like my pick for best song in the movie. You know, it's so short. I wish there was more.
Well, and it feels like the whole thing is short. Like, we all know that I have the best song of the movie on my Spotify playlist. And that song is like 1.5 minutes long. It's not very long at all.
2 minutes.
Yeah, that's not very long for a song.
Danny Elfman should have gone more all out.
Danny Elfman, I've tried to play Nightmare Before Christmas songs on the piano. I have sung along to them passionately. I know you can write long stuff. What happened here?
That was the problem. I don't think Warner Brothers gave him enough money.
Yeah, probably not.
Because this was Leica's first project. Like at all. And it was kickstarting, you know, the whole craze, I guess, or well, the studio, and Leica continued to be the only people that were making stop motion. It's just so it's like you have to build a studio from the ground up, is what I mean.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took them 4 years to make Nightmare Before Christmas.
Don't get me wrong, I totally get that, like, these movies take a whole lot of time, a whole lot of money, and just pure passion. Which is why I stand by, you know, that's what makes them so good, is the only people who are going to be involved with this are people who actually want to make them and want to make them well. But, man, there really is, like, a selfish part of me that's like, why couldn't we have XYZ? And I'm changing Zane's hairstyle for the first time in a year because his hair just doesn't work when wet.
Smart move.
He has robot hair.
Oh my gosh, I gotta check something real quick.
Okay.
Because I was reading about Corpse Bride. Oh my god! The 2005 Best Animated Feature Oscar nominees are like goals.
I've heard that 2005 was just a good year.
Well, it's not even like good year in air quotes. None of the movies were CG.
Oh, God bless.
Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Howl's Moving Castle, and Corpse Bride. For the record, Wallace and Gromit won.
How did Wallace and Gromit win whenever Howl's Moving Castle was up?
Okay, first of all, it was 2005. So, an anti-war movie probably wasn't what the Academy was going for.
The Academy and I need to have words.
Well, it was 2 years after the United States invaded Iraq. So.
Don't want to be an American idiot.
It was a very different time.
Not according to Green Day. I'm sorry. I'm keeping the punk down. I'm still a little salty about it being confirmed that the Hella Mega Tour has been postponed until 2021.
Well, at least it's been postponed, which means you are going to be guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I even got like a little email from Ticketmaster that was like, hey, your event's been postponed and not, canceled outright, which is what a lot of us were worried about. But it's still sad.
You'll be okay, girl. Let's see. But yeah, so that year was, I think, Wallace and Gromit, I think the reason why it won was because, nostalgia. Weren't those shorts around since like the 70s or 80s?
They'd been around for a while as shorts or as comics in some form. I don't know.
It's from Aardman, man. The same people that did Chicken Run.
Oh yeah, they've got like a really distinct claymation style.
Yeah, and then they gave up on claymation,
which is just so sad.
Well, they did make that Early Man movie.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like that one wasn't very widespread, I feel like I saw maybe 2 trailers of it, and both times it was whenever I was in theaters. I didn't see any mainstream trailers.
Oh, when I was in England, I saw so many advertisements for the Shaun of the Sheep movie. I wish I would have gone.
You should have!
Shaun the Sheep sequel. It was the sequel. I wanted to, but I didn't have. And then it's like I didn't want to go alone, and my roomie didn't seem interested in it. I was like, fun, I watch the Shaun of the Sheep things all the time on Playhouse Disney.
That's tragic. I would have gone with you.
I do. I have the first one on DVD, and I still need to watch it.
I don't know how to draw a dolphin.
Time to look up the reference.
You right.
Let's see, Aardman filmography. Their first movie was Chicken Run, and Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, then Flushed Away.
I do remember Flushed Away. I don't think I ever actually watched it, though.
Oh my god, they're making a sequel to Chicken Run.
What?
It only took him 20 years.
My God, this is The Incredibles, but worse. I meant timeline-wise. I've actually never watched Wallace and Gromit in full.
I thought the movie was okay. I've seen a couple of the shorts. My cousins were way more into it than I was. I was a Shaun the Sheep girl all the way.
Gotcha. I did like the Disney shorts of Shaun the Sheep.
Or wait, what? Sorry, repeat.
That I did like the Disney shorts with Shaun the Sheep.
Which is really weird, because, didn't most of those have, no dialogue?
Oh, yeah, no, they had no dialogue at all, which meant that, I guess even then, I was like, oh, this is fan-fucking-tastic. You don't have dialogue to kind of, piggyback off of. You can only show, you can only communicate visually and non-verbally. So you got to rely on musical cues and then the visual stuff going on to get the emotion across, which I've always thought was super, super cool.
That's what rocks about the Shaun the Sheep movies. And Shaun the Sheep in general.
Now, how to make this look like Pixel and not Nia, because that is my internal struggle.
I'm trying to find info on Chicken Run 2, and no luck. It's gonna be partnership with Studio Canal and Lionsgate. And I just feel like, oh, DreamWorks must feel so sad. Because DreamWorks helped fund the last, third of Chicken Run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was supposed to be part of a film deal, you know? And DreamWorks teaming up with Aardman was supposed to be, it was 4-movie film deal after they finished Chicken Run.
So what happened?
Executive meddling on the part of DreamWorks, and Aardman ended the deal after Flushed Away came out.
You know, I had a conversation with one of my coworkers about executive meddling. And here's the thing. Here's where it started. This coworker, bless his heart, said the words, "because of all this PC stuff," in front of me.
Oh, God.
So, already we're gonna have a time. And here's the thing. I try not to just immediately jump to, man the cannons in real life. Because, you never know how that's going to turn out. And frankly, I don't know how to actually punch. And that's a whole lot of paperwork. So I just tried to be like, I don't think it's the PC stuff. In fact, I think if you've got a problem with the PC stuff, what you actually have a problem with is quote unquote PC stuff done poorly. Because that's a lot of what you see is stuff like, the little trauma meet and greet in Endgame, the support group thing with Captain America, where one dude alludes to having a date with a guy. Suspiciously easy to cut.
Never outright.
Right. Suspiciously easy to cut, and yet we're supposed to throw a huge fit about it, right? And so I was just telling him, I really think the issue is not necessarily, PC stuff. I think it's PC stuff that is not done well at all. And the reason that comes through is because you have to meet demands of execs. A lot of people have been tossing around, the development stories from She-Ra because that just wrapped up. That's not an exaggeration. It takes a lot of fight to get anything more than just, boy meets girl if you're going to have relationships. And that's just with romantic relationships. That's not even getting into any of the other stuff. Hello, Domu. I have not seen your username before. Welcome. What's up? I'm rambling.
We both ramble a lot. It's how this show works.
Right? It's just our dynamic. One time I rambled for a whole hour about a Tom Hanks movie.
Tom Hanks movie was this? I forget.
Remember, you made me watch Splash, and then I was...
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was just shook for a whole day and a half.
I didn't know if you meant Splash or not.
But yeah, no. Executive demands, I feel, really are... I don't think even starting is the right word. I think they just flat out hinder and hamstring good storytelling at this point,
See, we've had this convo before where sometimes executives can be right, though.
Right, no, don't get me wrong. You get the right person in an executive spot and they're going to have genuine input, then that's going to be good. But if all you have is people who are just nope, that's not proven to make money, then
If I recall correctly, the reason Aardman split off was because they wanted to make a pirate movie. And DreamWorks was like, no, Pixar is making a mouse movie. We gotta do that.
See, and that's just dumb too. You do want to compete with your competitor, but do not let that need to compete actively tank projects. You know, if it's a bad project, if you come up and you're like, I want to do Snow White, but call it Snow Black. Like, no, stop, please. But if you have like a genuinely, you know, oh, I've got this concept I want to do. Pirates. People love pirates. You kidding me? Just look at Johnny Depp. People love pirates.
Well, that's another thing is that people like pirates when it's done well. If it is not done well, it will be left hung out to dry at the box office.
Okay, that is very true.
Or it comes out the same year as Lord of the Rings and some Harry Potter movie, and suddenly everybody's like, I don't feel like going to see a movie in November. I'm talking about Treasure Planet.
Okay, Treasure Planet. Poor Treasure Planet, all right? Side note, if any of you have never seen Treasure Planet, I highly recommend it. It is beautiful. It is emotional. It has steampunk sci-fi. Like, okay, let me tell you this. It's got fun characters that you will genuinely enjoy. It's got good comedy. It's got some of the best translation of work that I have ever seen. You know, hey, let's take Treasure Island and let's turn it into a space odyssey. Hell yes. Like, it's just a genuinely good movie.
Just a lifetime recession, Jimbo. I'll get over it.
Right? Like, yeah, that's some good stuff. I love that. The characters are witty, and the ones that are not witty, it makes sense, and they're not annoying, which is such a hard line to straddle. With characters that are, you know, dumb, but not annoying, do you know how difficult that is to do?
Okay, I'll dispute you on this part. I thought Ben was kind of annoying.
I admit, Ben, if you... Okay, I may be viewing this through rose-colored glasses. I'm going to be flat out honest. It's been a while since I've watched the movie, and I probably have forgotten how annoying Ben can be. That said, I still think it's a fantastic movie, and given the opportunity, I do recommend everyone go watch it. At the very least, it makes for a fun movie night, and you can sit there and, you know, laugh at the first part of it and then cry in the last 10 minutes. Treasure Planet is a Disney movie. It's 2D with a couple of CGI assets thrown into it, but largely 2D animated. And if you have Disney Plus, I know that it's available in the States. I don't know about other countries. I want to say it was on Netflix or Hulu at some point, right?
It used to be, and then they took it off.
Probably to put it on Plus.
Yes.
If you have the opportunity to watch it, super fun movie. Treasure Island, but space, which automatically makes it better.
Oh man, now you're just reminding me of that Why Hercules is a Thing opening. Just like 1985. Let's make either The Little Mermaid or Treasure Island in space.
Oh my god.
What would you have chosen in 1985 if you were a Disney executive?
Frankly, I'm just crazy enough that I would have gone with Pirates in Space. But that might also be because that, like, you know, I feel like they've done a lot of fairy tales over at Disney. They kind of built their bones off of that, you know? And I don't know. I think I just don't have an executive mind, you know? I am always going to value the crazier idea over the one that's part of the, formula type idea.
Little Mermaid started the 90s formula, at least, though. Or I guess the other thing you need to into account is that 1985 Disney was way different than 2020 Disney.
That's true. 2020 Disney is a whole different beast.
Like, The Great Mouse Detective had just come out, and the previous, 5 or 6 movies, and, they had their biggest bomb ever that almost destroyed the animation division before that.
Which is just, sad.
The Black Cauldron, everybody. You can watch it on Disney Plus. See the movie that almost killed Disney animation.
We're not telling you to go watch that one for the quality.
Oh yeah, no, it's purely for historical. You watch it and you're like, oh, you watch it and you get through the first 20 minutes to half hour. It's like, oh, what's wrong with it? Why does everybody hate this? And then it keeps going, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like an escalating feeling of just, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Oh, there's more. Oh. No.
There's a princess that is constantly telling everybody, hi, I'm Princess Alone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love female characters who talk, all right? There are some fantastic talkative people out there. However, the only person in the history of ever who has gotten away with announcing their title to every single person they meet is Inigo Montoya. And even then, he had to do it in a specific accent.
It came out before Princess Bride. I also want to point that out.
And Princess Bride did that better.
Well, it's not even it wasn't even Princess Bride, it was a running gag, but that led to something badass. It wasn't even meant to be a running gag in flippin' Black Cauldron. It was something she did.
Yeah, and here's the thing that, I think really cements the difference is what she said. It was a running gag that had a payoff. It had no purpose in the Black Cauldron except to remind us every 10 to 15 minutes, hey, this bitch's name is Ellen Wee. Or Ellen Y. How do you pronounce that again?
I'm Princess Alonwe.
Oh, Alonwe. See, I can't even pronounce it that much, and she said it how many times?
Oh, man.
Can you imagine if I went up to everybody in my life and was like, hello, I'm Rena of Tumblr. Every single person I ever introduced myself to, that was how I introduced myself to. And I would do this every time, regardless of if I was with my family, regardless of if I was with an employer. I would introduce myself like this to everybody every time I entered into a room. Every single time.
All right. Okay. But to my original point that I was trying to make before we went off on this tangent, Disney had not made a princess movie since 1959.
Dear Lord.
So there was almost 30 years between Sleeping Beauty and The Little Mermaid. Actually, no, it was 30 years because that came out in 89.
Dang.
So yeah, basically it was a completely different landscape. Disney Animation was just trucking along oh, we're gonna go make Oliver and Company. Oh, Howard Ashman. Hello, Little Shop of Horrors creator. Do you want to make some Disney songs?
I love that imagery of just, yep. You're the one who did that Crazy Plant musical? Nice. Come make movies for children.
Come make musicals for children.
Like
And Howard Ashman was like, oh my god, yes please.
Which, like, don't get me wrong, you know, especially now, you know, if Disney calls you up and is like, yo, we like your style, come work with us, you don't hang up on them.
Well, back then they didn't even have, like, the prestige of being in a Disney movie.
That is true, but, like, I mean...
No, but what I mean is that, like, it speaks to how... Because I've seen old interviews of the guy from, like, late 80s, early 90s. And his whole ethos was that live action is terrible for musicals. Cartoons are where it's at.
He is not wrong.
He passed away right before Beauty and the Beast came out.
His words ring true!
Rest in peace, Howard Ashman.
You a real one, my man.
They got him to do the Oliver and Company soundtrack, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and then a few songs for Aladdin. And most of his stuff was thrown out, unfortunately.
That is really unfortunate.
Oh yeah, no. Black Friday, was it called Black Friday? It was like a dark day for Disney and Pixar. Pixar was told to throw out all of their storyboards for Toy Story, and Disney, the people working on Aladdin, were like, you need to revamp this story now. And
which, like, don't get me wrong, clearly those were ultimately good decisions, you know?
mm-hmm.
I still am just, you know how I am. I always wonder what might have been.
Oh, totally. There's this amazing song that got cut from the movie called, for Aladdin, called Proud of Your Boy. And it was all about Aladdin feeling like a failure to his mother. Because his mom was going to be like an active player in the whole plot originally. And it was like very perfect for Howard Ashman.
See, I feel like those are the kinds of things that if you're gonna do remakes, you at least reconsider those cut portions, you know? If you're gonna remake a movie that is already, you know, in danger of death by nostalgia, let's say, if you're gonna readdress that movie, at least look at what you had on the table for that movie originally. You know, oh, this wouldn't work because, you know, we're making this for kids. Well, okay, now your primary audience is the parents of those kids who watch the movies as children. So, you know, maybe you can take a few more risks. Maybe you could be a little bit more serious. It's funny, this same coworker that we had the conversation about executive calls, for whatever reason, my office had Pandora set to Disney songs that day. And here's the thing. We would go back and forth with heads shooting up to listen to whatever bop came on, or roasting the hell out of whatever live action remake cover came on the radio. There was no in between. And unfortunately, Speechless from the Aladdin remake came on. And I made the comment of, you know what this song sounds like to me? This song sounds like the bridge part of a pop song. The entire song sounds like the middle of a pop song that just has one line from the chorus being repeated over and over, mixed with the artist vocalizing. That's what that song sounds like to me.
I won't be silent.
Right, like, it's a fun thing to sing, but at some point you're also like, okay, are we going to go back to the song now, or are we just going to do an 80s fade out? You know?
Yeah, that's the problem that I have with these live action remakes and why I am deeply concerned about the Mulan remake. Is that for whatever reason, they are required to make these movies 2 hours instead of an hour and a half.
See, I don't have a problem with that, because you and I were just saying, you know, what if we could extend Corpse Bride? You know, that would involve giving out more songs, and it probably would involve giving Victoria a song. The key is you can't just do it like, oh, well, this is a quiet part of the movie, so let's throw a song at it. No! No! You need to do this intentionally.
What we want to happen is what needed to happen, which is a more fleshed out relationship between Victor and Victoria. Like, that's a legitimate flaw I believe the movie has, is that, like, the person Victor is supposed to go back to, he has, like, 2 scenes with.
Okay, that is a very valid thing. But if...
Like, remakes, they're taking tight movies, like, the first original Beauty and the Beast movie from 1991 is, like, tight and concise, and there's, like, not... It doesn't waste any time. Just same thing with Aladdin. Aladdin, it's like, to the point. but it doesn't feel rushed either. It's just that when you watch Aladdin, especially Aladdin, like not so much Beauty and the Beast, because it actually feels like it's taking its time, but you get to the genie, and it's like, oh my god, how much movie has passed?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't really have much to say about, like, how to fix that, other than just, like, write... intentionally. You almost have to go back to the drawing board, because you can't just take movie parts and stretch them out. Like, they were edited down to that length for a reason, If it comes down to it and you're given not just the opportunity but the mandate to make this longer or whatever, I think, again, you need to go back to, well, what did we cut from the movie the first time around, and what can we add back into it?
That's the other thing, though. I really think cutting the mom was actually a really good idea, because it better emphasizes Aladdin's loneliness.
Yeah, it does.
It would undercut the tragedy.
Well, and see, I feel like, Disney just has this habit, of killing off the mom. Like, that's just what they do. Like, I joke that we pulled a Disney with Misako in every other AU we do, because we just keep killing her.
What do you want from me? Garmadon's more interesting.
Garmadon is more interesting, and he's the way better parent. Only Coco can compete. But, like, you have to admit, that's hilarious.
They always get rid of the moms because it's supposed to explain why they're not as compassionate.
Okay, then why do they keep doing it to, like, the overly compassionate characters?
Or, well, I take it back. It's more like, it's more like they don't have the motherly influence, I guess, because that Aladdin's mom would have been totally like, what? Feeling? Come on, just get a job.
That's true. I mean, my mom's constantly telling me that I should probably think about getting a job after my internship. What do you mean I can't just live as a rogue tiefling? Lloyd is a Disney princess confirmed.
Oh yes, I remember this. I remember when that Wreck-It Ralph trailer came.
Oh my god.
Side-by-side comparison. I wish I could find that blog. It's like, were you poisoned? Wait, was Lloyd ever poisoned? Yes, he was. We can count when his dad sucker punched him into dying.
Oh, yeah, he sure was. Awkward.
Kurt? Was he cursed?
I mean, having Garmadon for a dad could be considered.
I was more thinking about Moro.
Oh, yeah, no, that definitely has some cursey qualities to it, don't it?
And also, he was sent to the cursed realm.
I mean, yeah. Not so much sent as just, jumped in head first, but yeah.
He cursed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we're going to the cursed realm tonight, kids.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Although, I guess the one thing that I don't think applies to Lloyd is, does everybody think that your life was Oh wait, no, I guess was crappy until a big strong man showed up. Does Kai count as a big strong man?
I don't know if he counts as a big man. Oh, these two are going to be so pretty.
His entire family is kind of cursed. And they are looking very stylish.
You know, Arctic Skies does have a point. Because, I mean, you could argue that Misako was not cursed, but let's be real. Any marriage to Garmadon before he got turned back to Garmadad had to have been a little cursed.
No. Okay, so real talk. When do you think Disney's gonna release Mulan?
If COVID makes a comeback, and I keep in mind, guys, I'm in Texas right now. So whenever I say that, I simply mean in reference to, like, my state is pretending like things are letting up for now permanently. So they are reopening things. If COVID ends up making a second wave, if COVID ends up doing more mandatory lockdowns for a longer period of time, then I think Disney's going to try and release it on demand like Trolls did. Probably around Christmas, maybe earlier, depending on how things go. If, you know, we do business as usual and we try to muddle through and we're able to mostly keep a lid on COVID, then I think they'll probably release it in theaters. They'll shoot for Christmas or they'll shoot for that spring season, I think.
Oh God. It's gonna come out on my birthday next year again.
Yeah, I mean, like, the options are release in some way, come hell or high water, Christmas or next spring, or release in some way, come hell or high water, this summer, the end of summer, you know?
That would be hilarious. I'm wondering. They'll definitely go the rent route. I think if this keeps up, because they want to make sure everything opens back up. I think the budget for that movie was somewhere around $300 million.
Well, I mean, they're not gonna not release it, you know?
What I'm saying is that they're gonna, because of how much money they spent on it, I don't think that they're, $200 million, my mistake for, budget. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. They're gonna wait till they can get all that money back, because usually the advertising budget for these things are as much as the budget. And I remember leading up to my birthday, there was a lot of Mulan ads everywhere.
Yeah, and with how much money they spent on this, that's why I say, you know, the hell or high water is probably more likely. They're probably going to say, you know, come to a decision of this is going to be our date, and depending on the restrictions in the locales that they're trying to release to, it'll be a digital or a physical release. Granted, I don't know when that will be. I think Christmas, just because that's a big movie time. And they're already, you know, a few months now behind schedule. But who knows, honestly.
I'm on Wikipedia right now. It says it's going to get released late July. As of right now.
We'll see. I'm kind of taking...
A lot can happen. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. It took the slot of Jungle Cruise. I'm so mad.
Well, and like, I'm taking the same stance with Mulan that I took with all the other remakes that have come out. Everyone is, you know, welcome, and if you want to go see it, encouraged to go and watch it. I will not be going to watch this movie because I don't like the remakes. They frustrate me greatly.
Well, no, I'm not a fan of the remakes either, which is why I wanted the Jungle Cruise movie to come out this year, because this isn't really a remake, it's an adaptation of a theme park ride.
Which, I mean, you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, and clearly those can work.
Yeah, but they're kind of the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Tower of Terror movie?
No, but I mean, we've heard of Tomorrowland. We've all heard of Tomorrowland and how well that turned out.
I saw Tomorrowland in theaters. I went to go see that thing in theaters. I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna go watch this movie. Brad Bird? I love Brad Bird.
How'd it go? That's.
I remember on my way back home, I was listening to the radio, and someone was like, hey, now that Tomorrowland is out, Brad Bird is directly going into production for Incredibles 2. And you look at the box office for Tomorrowland, and it's like, imagine that! So it's just like with the dude that directed John Carter going back to Pixar to make Finding Dory. I wonder why.
I want to make this scene look glowy and pretty like a dream.
Ooh, these water effects are killer.
Thanks.
Oh my god, though, the dolphin, can you give it like a smirk? Because it's just kind of like...
I know, it's like no thoughts up in that brain.
It's just like, this is weird. Are those guys even... Wait, oh, they're not robots now. Okay.
I'm sorry, but like the only animals I have at my house are either bastard cats or just straight up idiots. I love my dogs with all of my heart, but there is nothing going on in their brains at any given time. And it's just them, the cats, and the chickens. Have you ever looked a chicken in the eye? You can tell the only thing going on in that brain is spite and curiosity, and not the intelligent kind.
Show Tracky.
What?
James Newton Howard did the soundtrack, I believe. I could be wrong. I need to double check this, but I am 95% sure he did Treasure Planet's soundtrack.
God bless. What a good soundtrack.
Hell yeah. Like, he's been mostly doing, like, live-action stuff, like, Batman, King Kong, Dark Knight. Oh, he did Nanny McPhee, that's interesting. Hunger Games.
Oh, Hunger Games was some good stuff.
And the Fantastic Beasts movies, too.
Dang.
Basically, this dude is good with the music.
Evidently. Hot dang. Y'all forgive my Texan. It's constant.
Hey, I love it. Don't stop.
Aw, thanks.
Oh, he did Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. That's cute.
I unironically love Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. I unironically just love the Romeo and Juliet.
Sorry, what'd you say?
That I unironically just love Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's such a fun movie.
Totally. I still haven't seen Sherlock Gnomes yet.
Sherlock Gnomes doesn't quite measure up to Romeo and Juliet. Still enjoyable. Still very enjoyable.
I mean, I've seen Moriarty, and, like, I was, marveling at his animation and his character design.
Yeah.
For, like, solid 10 minutes.
No, Moriarty's fun.
What'd you say?
That Moriarty was fun. I don't want to give you any spoilers because, like, I feel like the storyline of it is genuinely fun. But yeah. It's not something I would say track down, but if you're sitting there scrolling through like Hulu or something one night and you're like, I'll give it a shot. Like, it's a good movie for like a lazy movie night.
Ooh, I gotcha. I thought it like looked, just like fun kids fare, whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is.
There was like a compilation specifically of Moriarty clips, and I totally watched that because I didn't think I was ever going to be.
Okay, this is totally off topic. Y'all want to know what my favorite quarantine joke that has been going around recently has been?
Tell me.
Skype had 17 years to prepare for Corona, and they still got their ass kicked by Zoom. And I think that joke came from Patriot Act. That was where I heard it first. But, like, that's hilarious. Like, he's sitting there, telling me all the world's problems, as Hassan Minaj does. And he's like, dude, Skype is a verb that no one does. Like, oh, yeah, dude, I'll Skype you. Let me pull up Zoom.
Zoom is, at least I hope so, Zoom is, like, losing popularity, and I want people to stop using it.
Oh, yeah, no. Once everyone started really spreading around that, hey, Zoom is actually a glaring security issue, those with an IT department that can actually be listened to, and those with IT knowledge and privacy concerns, they have switched over. Some people have not. Luckily, my university never used Zoom. The university purchased life-size licenses, and they've been using that.
We used WebEx. Have you heard of that app?
I've heard of it, haven't ever used it.
It was fine.
The thing with life-size is you don't need an app to use it. You just type in a URL and into Google Chrome and you use it. Skype is just a video chat service that technically is owned by Microsoft right now. And they were the first video chat service, okay? Skype was what you did whenever you were super cool and you had Windows 7 and all the updated bits and bobs from Microsoft, all right? And it sucks, all right? Constantly lagging, it crashes. 99% of the time, whenever we had a problem with a particular Microsoft problem and I had to go fix it, it was because there was something weird with Skype. Skype or Teams. Teams is fantastic in theory and a pain in the ass in practice. But yeah, Skype is a video chat service that comes with Microsoft Office now, and a lot of times comes pre-installed on Windows computers. It works fine, in all honesty, but the fact of the matter is there are better video services out there. Sadly, if it weren't for the privacy issues, Zoom would be a much better video service.
Well, I also was just really annoyed when my family used it because we would talk for more than a half hour and then it would just immediately end the video.
See, and that's effing stupid. That's just so stupid. I'm sorry, you guys have me on a technology rant now. I should probably go on to the next drawing. That is what you guys are here for. I can't be trusted. Sorry, Damu. I really like to talk and explain things. and just like, if I get on a roll and I start rolling, y'all just throw a bunch of exclamation points in the chat and I'll stop, at least out of confusion.
You're doing fine, girl.
So, I'm not gonna lie, every so often while I'm doing these chats, I will pause for a minute and I will scroll through Tumblr as a way to kind of like reset my brain. And the first thing I see is something my cousin reblogged that's just like, I filled in for my parents today at my little sister's college orientation because they couldn't make it. While I was having lunch with the other parents, one of the moms commented on how young I looked. I told her I had Jessica when I was 13 and she choked on her salad. Which, like, I was born during my parents' junior year, so those jokes are extra hilarious to me. Because, like, here's an actual story that happened whenever I was like 13, okay? We're at my grandparents' house and my dad is giving like an inspirational talk to one of his brother's friends who's like, you know, trying to figure out what to do with his life, who's trying to figure out if he's doing the right thing, if he's making the right choices in life. And my dad is just like, you know, when I was younger, I made a lot of questionable choices that decided parts of my life for me. I didn't start school on time because of those decisions. And I'm sitting there behind him. Dad can't see me, but my brother or my uncle's friend definitely can. And I'm just pointing at myself with both thumbs. Like, yeah, I'm bad decisions. And that's the story of how Rena's no longer allowed to be in the room during those conversations.
I mean, it makes sense.
So, day 24 is OC. And, like, I have no idea what to do for that.
For sure. Well, we don't have an OC, so you could just draw yourself again.
Right, but like I did that for the first day. We could do just a non-canon drawing of Rocky.
I'm in.
Let's do it. I love Rocky.
Yeah.
I love Rocky so much.
He is great. I can't wait till we get to him.
I know, he's gonna be so much fun. And then people are gonna hate him, and then they're gonna love him.
It's a balancing act.
Oh no, not Rocky the Dragon. This
We
is
have an OC.
this is Rocky from EOTU, which y'all haven't met yet officially. And people who have been watching the streams for a while may recognize the name and definitely recognize the look whenever this gets more detailed. Oh, he's gonna be all smoothed out like a little shark.
I can't wait. Ooh, could you make his scales look like rocks?
Oh, hell yes. Like little pretty gemstones.
Aww.
Rocky 100% does not deserve any of the things that happened to him. But at the same time, he's a jerk face at first.
Well, when you've had his sad childhood.
Or lack
Well,
thereof.
Did he even have a childhood? Is it more just remember?
I think he just kind of sprang into existence.
Your girl here was going super crazy this afternoon on her Yu-Gi-Oh app.
Yeah?
I got way up to platinum rank, and I was so proud of myself.
Nice. My dad and my brothers, back whenever, Pokemon was still holding tournaments before COVID, my brother especially would train on TCG Online to test out his deck and make sure it was good, actually good in practice before he actually, buckled down to build it.
Nice.
Because my family competitively plays Pokemon, among other strange traits.
That's not strange.
Y'all, I live basically in a renovated garage. You want to know what's on the far back wall of this garage? A giant Pokemon sign.
As it should be.
I'm just saying, this is such a family of nerds. Even my mom, she'll be like, I'm not that much of a nerd. And then, you know, she'll do some nerdy shit like, hey, do you guys want to all pile in the car to go play Pokemon Go? There's a Mewtwo out today. Mom.
You know what's super fun about playing this game on this app, though, is that you're playing, like, some rando from, like, Mexico or Germany or something, and it's like, oh, someone else cares about this. Enough to play it on this weird app.
Aww.
I don't mean it as a bad thing. I mean it as like a not.
No, I think that's really cool. That's what I love about like online everything is you can just connect with people from all over the dang place. And it's because you both are like really passionate about the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you?
I don't have anything else to say. I'm just in the middle of a game. Real quick, I wanted to do it real quick. I know, bad timing. I'm sorry. I'll wrap this up fast.
Hey, you're good. There is no judgment here. I am giving Rocky like torn up fins because I'm mean to him.
I can't wait.
Poor Rocky. He did not ask for any of this.
No, he did not.
And yet... I'm so proud of our chickens. We got 3 eggs from them today.
Nice. Good work, girl.
Thank you. We were talking about how, like, the ones that we got from this chicken dude a few weeks ago, they all look so much healthier. And one of them was straight up sick. Like, we lost one of them really early on that she just took a nosedive one day and like was fine, and my dad let them out, and I went out there and she was not fine anymore. But like the ones that are still around, like they look so much healthier. Their little combs are so much healthier and bright red, and they stand upright. Like it makes me happy because we have happy chickens, you know?
I gotcha. None of the other ones have died, though?
We have lost 2 because of various chicken incidents. And we've lost 1 baby.
Oh. So out of the 2, it was 1, or it was...
We've lost 3 in total out of 19 chickens.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad at all. Like, we've done really good. The reason we got as many babies as we did was because we thought we were going to lose like 4 babies. That is not the case, and now Dad has to build a second chicken coop.
Woohoo!
So, like, apparently we are good chicken people.
Hey, girl, you got this.
Thanks.
Let's just hope they don't try to be chickens that run. Wink, wink.
But no, these are going to be happy chickens in a nice chicken coop. We're already starting to kind of introduce the babies to the big girls. Very slowly, because, well, yesterday we let them all out into the yard to kind of have, like, supervised interactions. And one of the babies immediately ran at the runt of the big litter, or big flock, and got a feather pulled out because she tried to fight. Who knew chickens were violent animals? Because I did not.
They can be very violent.
Oh yes, I know now. Little buzzards.
Cockfighting?
I mean, yes, I'd heard of cockfighting, but I always just assumed that was a trait inherent to the roosters, not inherent to, we have a flock of hens. We're not allowed to have roosters in the city limits, so we don't have any.
Right. I remember you telling me this before.
And it turns out that, like, the hens are opportunistic little cannibals. They are violent. Oh yeah. Fun fact, if anyone ever runs into this at all, if one of your chickens has an injury, keep an eye on that and possibly separate the chicken from the others until it stops bleeding, because they will all peck at it and it will quickly turn horrifying.
Oh no.
Yeah, they are frightening little buzzards, and they know that they are the closest thing we have to dinosaurs, and they will remind you of it.
Yeah, I love this. Just how you describe things, I mean.
Thanks. I think I've been watching too much John Oliver.
Oh man, you start making all the comparisons when you start watching John Oliver religiously. I was doing that for ages.
Well, and the thing was, is that, like, I only just recently started watching it. Like, the other day, whenever I was talking to you, was, I think, the first day that, like, I actively pulled up a video of his to watch. And then I definitely had, like, one of his videos going while I was fixing my tablet this afternoon. Him and Patriot Act. They tell me about all the world's problems.
Look up this stuff from when his show first started. You know, I'm like the elitist who thinks his earlier stuff was better, but he legit made national news. Because it's thanks to John Oliver that FCC's website crashed back in 2014
What?
for like a week.
John Oliver, what did you do?
So what was going on was they were going to amend the rules so that telecom companies could charge you extra for faster service or something like that, which don't they already do? It was weird.
It was challenged back in 2013, and then I think it actually went through in 2017 or 18.
Why didn't you talk about it?
Probably because we had a lot of shit going on in 2017 and 18.
Well, yeah, but like, come on.
Plus, like, he's kind of owned by AT&T, isn't he? Like, yes, he makes a joke out of it, and he actively calls them out for certain things. But I can't imagine there's some things that he's...
He actively hurt AT&T with that bit.
Right. This was not... probably they didn't own him at the time, or if they did, they added stuff to, you know, allowing him to be on the air or whatever. But, like, at this point now, AT&T owns him.
I know, it sucked. Because I remember when it came out, and he was like, actively... It's like... He was showing footage of, like, the CEO of Comcast talking on some TV show. It's like, we don't compete with Time Warner. They're in one city, we're in another. So there's no loss of, there's no, it was like, there's no loss of competition or something like that. And John was like, yeah, exactly. There's no loss of competition when there's no competition to be had. You cannot, this is my favorite part of it, you cannot be describing a monopoly more if you were wearing a metal top hat.
See, that's what I absolutely love about him, is just, like, he's legitimately funny, but then you go back and you think about it and you're like, oh no.
And then he was, like, calling out Comcast for slowing down Netflix's download and streaming speed for Comcast customers while they were negotiating pay or something, or like a deal with Netflix.
Which is just so ridiculous. And, like, don't get me wrong, this is not a, you know, political commentary YouTube. This is a whatever I want it to be YouTube. But, like, hot damn, this is a bit of a problem.
Oh, and then he called. Then he's just, and then, like, he called out the fact that Obama had appointed the former, so like the cable company, cable industry had a guy who was their top lobbyist, and then Obama appointed that top lobbyist to be in charge of the FCC. So
yeah, that was a load of
lobbying arm in charge of regulating the lobbyists.
which I have opinions.
Of needing a babysitter and hiring a dingo. And then they had to do a follow-up the next week because the FCC guy addressed it. For the record, I'm not a dingo.
For the record, if you feel the need to clarify that you're not a dingo on national television in response to some guy with a YouTube channel, I have some concerns about your ability to do your job.
HBO show.
Still, like, that's cable YouTube.
It is. And then that was at the end of the, and then at the end of the video was the one they were like, tell the U.S. government that you do not want this to go like that, or the internet to become like real mail, where you have to pay extra for a faster delivery.
Well, and honestly, the internet shouldn't be. And, like, there's a whole nother can of worms to be opened about, you know, how internet really isn't, like, a luxury service anymore. It should be considered a utility. And nothing has made that clearer than the COVID epidemic. But, you know, we don't have time for that right now, and I'm not Hassan Minaj, so...
But yeah, that is easily my pick for the best episode of the show we ever did. Oh, that and the first FIFA episode. The first FIFA episode was the best.
What did he do?
Oh, man. So, the Brazil World Cup was going on at the time. Oh my god, 2014. This was 6 years ago. I feel old.
You feel old? I played soccer.
But he was specifically calling out the corruption in FIFA, the fact that none of the profits from the World Cup ticket sales and whatnot go to the country. They go to that hosts the World Cup that year. They go to FIFA.
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole lot of bad shit.
They may get tourism dollars, but they don't get that. And so when Brazil hosted it, they had to build these giant stadiums that would only be used like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous what goes into like FIFA.
Protests, and it was insanity. Oh, and then there are legit things called FIFA courts that can prosecute people.
Oh?
For real crime.
Oh?
Yeah, and then I can't remember if it was in Brazil or not, but one country had to banned alcohol in stadiums because it was becoming such a problem at games for like brawls to come out against or between fans. And then FIFA lobbied and forced the country to make an exception for their games.
Dear Lord.
Because one of FIFA's top sponsors is Budweiser, and they have a product that they call beer.
The world is a hellscape run by corporations.
But my favorite joke was the fact that he showed a photo of their board of directors room that FIFA has, and he's like, "That's right, everybody. They this was a joke that only I don't know if you've seen this movie, but that's right, you guys. They modeled it after the war room from Doctor Strangelove."
Oh my god.
That is a sign that this company does not give a shit what you think about them.
I mean, soccer, I think it's either soccer or cricket that's like the biggest sport in the world. So I mean, cricket's huge, especially let me rephrase that. Cricket is huge, if only because India goes nuts over it. Like, cricket is a big effing deal. And again, this is all from watching Hassan Minhaj because I have no life. But it very much started as this is a really easy way to give Britain the middle finger without, getting shot.
Nice.
Which might be a really oversimplified and not nuanced at all way of putting it, but that's what I can remember off the top of my head.
You're right, though. Football or soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, is like huge. It's getting popularity in the States.
Thank God. Okay.
Happy that it is.
Here's the thing. I go up to my Hispanic family or any of my Hispanic friends and I'm like, I was a goalie when I was 12. They think I'm badass. I go up and I say that to some white kid, they have no idea what I'm talking about.
You go, girl. You stuck around till you were 12. I quit soccer when I was 10.
No, girl. See, soccer was 1, fairly cheap because all you needed was shin guards and cleats, and 2, for all ages. So with a broke-ass family with 4 kids that needed something to do on a Saturday, it was perfect. I played soccer from the time I was 6 until I was 12, and then I refereed from the time I was 12 until I was 14. I breathed soccer. And I technically got bit on the knee. That was a really weird day.
You got bit in the knee by a bug? Or by a kid?
It was a kid.
It was a kid?
Yeah, it was a kid.
What?
Okay, so fun story. Picture this. You're me. You're 11 or 12, and your team has actually started to get pretty good at doing this whole soccer thing. So your coach decides she's going to put you into winter and summer indoor soccer so you guys can stay in shape for the next season, right? Now, you play in Texas, which means that in regular fall and spring outdoor season, it's separated by gender. You've only ever played female soccer players. But in indoor, because there's so few indoor teams, the teams are actually co-ed, which is a whole different beast, and all of a sudden, you feel personally challenged as a little preteen girl. So automatically, your pain tolerance is much higher. And you are much more willing to physically slam other preteens into the wall surrounding the indoor soccer field, because there's no such thing as out of bounds in indoor soccer unless you hit the net that is covering the field. And you can just slam other players into walls.
Oh my god.
And here's the thing. Again, I was not running around on the field. I was the goalie. My domain was the goal box. You don't come in my domain without my permission. And unless you're one of my defenders, you don't have permission. And the other thing you need to know is that, I was not a smart goalie. I was not smart by any stretch of the word at all. My method of getting the ball away from the other team was to just dive at the ball from wherever I was and wherever that ball was, okay? If it was, just rolling towards me, I was gonna squat down and grab it. If it, was being dribbled up and there was a kid directly behind it, I was gonna jump on the ball.
Oh no!
So one day, we're having a match. It's fun. And I'm goalie. They've got a boy on their team, which, you can't really tell. You don't really care as a 12-year-old if they've got boys or girls on the team until after the fact, once you figure out that it was a boy on the team. And he dribbled the ball into the goal box. And I'm thinking to myself, alright, showtime. Let's go. We gonna trip this bitch. because I'm fixing to dive at the ball and curl up into a ball around it, so he basically trips over me and face plants. That was the extent of my plan.
Jeez, Rena. This poor boy.
Well, apparently, he also had a plan, which must have gone something along the lines of, I'm gonna look so badass in front of my mom, and I'm gonna slide tackle this bitch like a pro. There was one problem with this. One, he was not a pro. There were multiple problems here. One, he was not a pro. Two, I was an idiot who was not going to let him get the ball. And three, he didn't know how to actually slide tackle.
Oh no.
So he tries to slide tackle and winds up sliding funny and just kind of doing like one of those rock and roll slides to the floor. I jump on the ball. I'm 12. I don't know how to control my limbs, so they're everywhere. And next thing I know, I'm feeling a little woozy and my leg really hurts.
Oh my god.
And we both kind of look down, and my leg's gushing blood, his face is bleeding, and the referee's stopping the game, and my dad's standing in the goal because that's where the door was, motioning to me to come on. And finally the ref calls him in and he helps me get up and off the field. I nearly fainted while we were bandaging it up because, hey, I'm losing blood, I'm 12, that's scary as shit. And then, after we've bandaged my knee up with as much duct tape and gauze as we could find, I got back in the game. The boy did not. See, huh, motherfuckers? I had a game to finish, Mel. I wasn't just gonna leave my teammates hanging like that.
Bet your butt you should have.
No. I was fine. We had duct tape and gauze. Oh, you think that's fun? Wait till you hear about the time I played tennis regionals with, like, definitely not the flu.
You didn't give it to anybody, I hope.
Oh, no. Tennis is one of the few sports that they're letting go forward right now for schools.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, there's not really that much touching.
No.
Like, do they just, like, throw the used balls on the side?
You know, it's an interesting thing. Granted, I have not read the exact wording. Please do not take my word as law. But the CDC has come out and said, hey, it does not spread as easily via surfaces as we thought. It's turning out that it's not spreading as easily via animals and surfaces and such. But yeah, no, like, I was having a time. I wasn't running a fever. I was just, like, super sore throat and sniffles. But, my parents essentially loaded me up on vitamin C drops, and I went to regionals.
You poor kid.
But I hit somebody.
Like, in the face?
Okay, I was never good enough to, like, intentionally hit someone in the face. But, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I was a violent tennis player. Oh
my god.
So, you know, I'm playing, this is a different incident, but I'm playing the last match I will ever play in high school. I'm playing regionals. It's at the local university's courts. I'm having the time of my life. This is super fun. I'm playing doubles with my best friend, the person I've been playing doubles with for the past 3 years. It's a good day, right?
Right.
Well, at some point, the other team made me mad. And the story goes that my dad, at this point, leans over to my uncle, who hadn't been able to catch very many of my games at all, but since this was in town, he was able to go. My dad leans over to my uncle and says, "Oh, Rena's mad." And my uncle, who also has a temper, is like, "Well, how can you tell? What do you mean?" And Dad just tells him to wait. Not 10 minutes later, there's this very loud smack because I hit the girl right smack in the thigh with the tennis ball. I don't know if you've ever been hit at, point blank range by a tennis ball that's been smacked down by a racket on your thigh. Oh, it hurts so bad. I one time got hit by like one of our hardest hitters of the team during practice. I had a red welt on my thigh for the next 3 hours. And while I don't think I hit that hard, I definitely was a bigger girl. I had a little more power behind my swing. And I think that made her a little bit more skittish at the net that day.
Good job, girl.
Thanks.
I never did it competitively. It was just a thing on Sunday nights that that my parents signed me up for when I was younger. Although I do remember Halloween, I accidentally impressed my dad too much.
What'd you do?
Well, I ran faster than I apparently ever had before.
Tennis was the only thing that could get me to run.
We were doing relays and whatnot, and so I was on a team with my brother, and the thing was if you did really well, you would get an extra piece of candy because it was Halloween, because it was Halloween week, and so I was dead set on getting that. My dad is up there watching, and he's like, "Why the heck didn't you run that fast ever in soccer?"
There wasn't enough incentive, old man.
Did it really just take an extra piece of candy?
That's actually hilarious.
It was a day. I never forgot it just because I remembered how shocked he was.
Your poor old man, he just wanted you to do your best.
He was just like, why don't you do it for other sport?
Other sports don't speak my language.
So it's just the fact that it's 9 o'clock at night and I want sugar.
This is actually one of my favorite pictures of Rocky now. And he looks torn up.
I know. He changed his hair a bit.
A little bit, yeah. I was kind of having some fun with this one.
I like him to look like his jacket, kind of.
Yeah, him and Moro, they both got poncho fins.
I love it.
We're just going to put him down here at the bottom of the ocean. I am so excited about my new internship, man. The lady genuinely seems super nice. And
I'm so happy for you.
yeah, I was actually kind of worried because, my only other PR experience or marketing experience at all was very much a different environment. Even aside from, this is social media marketing and that was PR. It was a different cultural environment. I don't think I make it much of a secret that I'm much more comfortable with dad's side of the family than I am with mom's, but this I genuinely will like.
You go, girl. It's only 8:30. Why am I so beat?
Are you stressed?
Somewhat.
I mean,
But I'm probably getting my job back. I shouldn't be stressed.
it might still be just okay, the threat's over, we got a job, and now we sleep.
And now we sleep. I think it's also, I have a straight week of thunderstorms apparently ahead of me.
Oh, God bless.
I mean, I love those, don't get me wrong, but I'm worried about flooding.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also, I like my outdoor walks. Most of the time, I don't go into any stores whatsoever, even though I bring my wallet with me. So it's just like nice and peaceful, and everybody keeps their distance. I remember yesterday there was an old man that waited for me to pass him, and I was just sitting there like, dude, I mean, I'm not hogging the sidewalk. Like, come on, I just have to go pick up my car.
See, I feel like, and it might just be because I'm used to Texas being like this, but I feel like Texas has such a strong flux of people, or such a strong amount of people who are like, this is all fake, and we need to treat it like it's fake.
Which it's not just Texas, it's everywhere. It's like, oh, did you see that thing on Twitter where someone was like, I won't be a sheep, and they got kicked out of Costco?
Oh, yes, I did. My professor actually talked about it, that, like, he was trying to record the employee who kicked him out, and then it backfired, and everyone was praising Costco and the employee.
Yeah. Just like, bravo, dude, you made yourself look like an idiot.
Well, and the thing that I don't get is, don't get me wrong, I, too, think the masks are extremely uncomfortable. I don't like wearing them. I feel like I'm wearing a muzzle every time I put one on. However, I do know that, like, it is not that big of an ask for me to wear one. Regardless of their supposed, or I don't want to say that, that's wrong wording. Regardless of their effectiveness, regardless of your perception of their effectiveness, wearing one really isn't that big of a deal. And if that's what it takes for me to go and get my Legos, by God, I'm gonna wear the mask. Mom made me one with sugar skulls on it, I'm gonna wear it. That's the part that gets me.
So here's the issue here's the reason why I think people make a big deal out of it. I think I said this before, it's like you're acknowledging that something is wrong if you partake in it. And people aren't, there's, at least in my experience, or at least seeing online, you know, a lot of people don't want to say that something is wrong right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, it makes me frustrated, because I feel like it's one of those things where, like, this could very easily be something that we just ride out the storm. You know? Down here, we get a ton of tornadoes, and, like, there's nothing you can really do except hunker down in the basement or whatever and wait till it's gone. I feel like this is something that, yes, over a much longer period of time, if we were willing to just hunker down and wait it out, it could calm down very much. But for whatever reason, that's a really big ask of people.
Well, I guess it's also, like we in the U.S. are doing fine, but I know for a fact that in, what was it? India? It's not very pretty right now.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me, honestly, because one, India just has a lot more people and a lot closer contact. You know, for us right now, the worst numbers.
They did the strictest shutdowns immediately after this started.
Uh-huh.
And the problem, if I recall correctly, was that they weren't, is that when they did the shutdowns, or what was going on was that, you know, over half the country is living on $1 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have people here in the U.S. who want to get it going because they're worried about the long-term impacts of the economy of this new recession that just got going.
Right.
But in India, it's literally life or death.
Yeah.
For some people. It's like, do you get hurt because COVID, or do you get hurt because, or do you see the problem?
Yes, I do. And I mean, that's what makes it so frustrating, is that, you know, this has happened, and it's not like we're all living in this perfect utopia where we can just do all this. Like, I know I say the hunker down thing, but you're right. It's not that cut and dry. especially not for other parts of the world. You know, I'm able to do this because I was able to come home and stay with my parents and not have to worry about the lights or about groceries. I was very lucky in that regard. I've got some classmates and some people online who, like, definitely did not have that option. It's such a frustrating situation because it's like, I can do XYZ myself, and I do them because I know there are some people who can't. And then you have, you know, that third portion where it's just like, I could do X, Y, and Z, but I don't want to do them, and there's not anything in the Constitution that says I have to do them, therefore I will not. And it's a frustrating situation to see, is my deal.
Absolutely. Let's get back to Positivos. Who's excited for season 13 and Lego's first 2D shows, like Lego Elves?
I'm interested in that. I'm such a Ninjago person. Like, it's so hilarious. I should not be this stubborn. Like, I should want to go and watch more Lego stuff, but I'm just like, no. Got my ninjas. I'm Gucci.
I don't blame you. I was like that for a while, but then I wanted to figure out why the two little girls I babysat were so into Lego elves specifically. And then I was like, oh look, there's a Netflix show, and they were like, a Netflix show? They had no idea. They had just watched all the webisodes on YouTube. I was like, yeah, let's give this a shot. And then I stumbled upon the gloriousness that was the Netflix show, because it's by Studio Mir, and it is so obvious, like, by Studio Mir, it's almost sad.
See, and I saw a lot of the screenshots and clips from the Lego Elves that were like, oh look, it's Mir, it's the Voltron people. And I think I was seeing it at the height of Voltron not knowing how to behave. And so that just added to it, where I was just like, nope, not touching that. No, sir.
Nice. I mean, I totally get why, but it still makes me laugh.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it was the height of the Voltron hype.
Well, and like, don't get me wrong, I watched all of Voltron. Even whenever I was like, this is kind of feeling stupid, I at least wanted to finish the story. And then the story wrapped up, and like, you know what? The entire last season felt like the end credit stills from a final episode epilogue. That's what it felt like. Just completely disjointed. You didn't feel like you knew any of the reasoning behind what happened. You're just seeing like little threads of stories that will not be told. That's what it felt like. It felt like a completely disjointed ending after the ending that you had no connection to. And that's why it was so dissatisfying.
I never finished it. I saw like half of season 7 and was like, bye.
Well, and like, I think I should include season 7 in that too, because even season 7, like it still felt disjointed and disconnected from what all they had set up. You know, we take such a long time to establish out things in 1 and 2. Like, we're taking our sweet time through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, it almost feels like we've hit the pause button. And then it almost felt like they fast forwarded starting at 5.
Oh, hold on a sec. I gotta stop.
Oh, see ya.
I gotta mute. I'll be right back.
Uh-huh. Well, now that Mel's gone, we're gonna have a rave. No, that's a lie. That would be mean. Not gonna have a rave without Mel. I don't know how long it's gonna take before she comes back. Oh, there she is. We definitely didn't have a rave while you were gone.
You definitely did not have a rave?
We didn't have a rave while you were gone.
Time to open up Spotify, you mean?
That didn't happen. See,
Okay, so
that's where the generational divide is. That person says crab rave, and all I can think of is caterpillar rave.
caterpillar rave.
Do you remember that?
Caterpillar rave? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. It just sounded ridiculous.
Oh my god, no, I'm gonna find it. Oh my god, I've gotta find caterpillar rave for you.
I am scared.
Yes.
Caterpillar rave.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull this. Ugh, I feel so sad that, like, you can't keep up with, like, the live stream, that it's got this lag, so you're gonna hear it before you see it. I'm gonna send you the YouTube link.
Okay. I'll watch it after this. That will be different.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the YouTube link, and then I'm gonna play this for the people, and y'all are gonna know what I'm talking about, because anytime I hear rave now, this is what I think of.
Caterpillar rave.
That is what I think of whenever I hear the words rave now. And apparently, nowadays, all you younger people are like, it's a crab rave. No, caterpillar rave. This is how you know I'm graduating. I'm trying desperately to hold on to any semblance of the past.
Aren't we all?
So you're like, hey, Rena, you want to graduate early? Yay! You want to graduate during a literal pandemic? Yay!
Actually, it's good for us. It's good for us that we're graduating now, because who knows what the colleges are going to do.
Oh, I know. Mine is saying, yes, we are going to resume in-person classes come fall 2020, and we are going to work with you to the best of our abilities. And I'm like, ma'am, we are all going to get sick in the fall if you do that.
I know, right?
Excuse you, JB, I am at least 14.
I'm like, I don't mean to actively, what's the proper word? Shit on the custodians. But I distinctly remember a friend of mine spilling, or no, not even a friend of mine. I spilled hot cocoa in a classroom once. And it was not, and like I cleaned it up a little bit, the best of my ability. But it was not off of that, the stain was not off of that floor for a solid 3 weeks.
See, and that's the thing, like, everyone's been sharing this stuff about, like, here's all the stuff that we're gonna need in order to bring kids back to school in the fall, and it's stuff like having the 6-foot diameter around the desk, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, what public school do you know of that has the space to accommodate that for students?
Yeah, like, not everybody lives in, like, rural Watkins doesn't have a school. It's just in rural country. It's like, they don't have space.
Here's the thing. I live in a rural county. We have one, town of 10,000 people, and then on either side of us are 2 towns of like 500 people. I know the rural classes that graduate like 10 kids a year. They don't have the space for that. Like that. This is just not realistic thinking. And frankly, if and don't get me wrong, I'm 21. I know all the answers to the world's problems. I've never worked any of these jobs or been under those stresses, so clearly I know everything about them. But like, there should be a better solution. I'm at a house right now. You want to know the things that have been going on in this house since March? My mom has been making hundreds of masks since this started. Like she's literally made hundreds of masks. You've got my dad, who has literally attended court hearings for his clients via YouTube stream because they have to be available to the public. You have me, who has completed her last spring semester of college 100% online. It was a pain in the ass, and I hate group projects, and you can quote me on that. But I did it. You have my sister, who finished her first year of college completely online, which I'm sure she will tell you. It was a pain in the ass, and she hates geology, and you can quote her on that. And you have my brothers. One of them finished his first year of high school online. One of them finished kindergarten. He didn't really do anything online aside from like a once a week Zoom call with his little kindergarten teacher, but that was effing adorable. And he got to show his whole class a chicken. But you know, we say all that stuff, and then you get into the, you know, what about the kids who don't have, you know, internet at home all the time, or don't even have electricity at home all the time? What about the kids who depend on the schools for their meals most of the time through the school year? And it all cycles together, and it's frustrating. Are you kidding me? You want to know what I was listening to in the car today? I'm gonna play it for you guys because you deserve to hear it.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Have you met me? That is definitely not what I was listening to.
I know. I'm trying to be an optimist.
That was really loud. I'm sorry. I mean, essentially, I just kept listening to all of my End of the World songs today, and that was how I kept my sanity.
Hey, that works.
Listen, like I told my coworker today, if I'm going out, it's to the sound of electric guitar and drums.
Nice. Words to live by. Oh, so wait, I want to hear you talk about this as opposed to reading text messages about it. What do you think of Lego's new IP that they launched in the middle of a pandemic with no set under $35?
I think it's ambitious. I do think based on the aesthetic and everything, and the art style, because let's be real, there's some like huge fan artists out there that basically do that art style fairly regularly that would have shown some interest. Oh, hello, Cyber Searcher. Yeah, sorry about the volume, guys. But anyway, I think it's ambitious, and I think it is very much hoping to at least bank off of that Ninjago love. Just looking at the aesthetic, looking at the character designs, all of that mess. That just seems to me like there's a lot of similarities there, you know?
Oh, I totally 100% agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, it looks like a ton of fun, and it definitely doesn't look like something I'm going to dislike. But again, I'm very attached to these dumb ninjas, evidently. And I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not. You know, I'm not going to avoid it purposefully, you know?
Right.
But I don't know if I'm going to necessarily make the effort to find it. You know, with Ninjago, I've definitely made the effort to, like, track down the episode streams and all of that, and tried to watch it on the Cartoon Network app whenever they came in.
As you should.
Okay, JB, if you're gonna, you know, 1 minute you're considering it. Here's the timeline I'm going to give you. All right, you're considering watching it right now. A month from now, you're gonna think you've watched everything Netflix has to offer, and you're gonna think, screw it. And then a week later, after you've watched 4 seasons, you're going to want to look up artwork. And when that happens, you will find far too much of it is mine.
You're just very good at pumping out a lot of artwork.
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't get. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for myself to crash. And don't get me wrong, I've had, like, quote-unquote crashes before, where I basically have to go and sit in the bath for 2 hours and reset because burnout is real and it sucks. And yet, like, I did not realize that my output was above average for art. Like, I always thought it's, like, below average. Like, there's no way that, you know... What?
It's because you don't do super detailed backgrounds.
Don't call me out like that.
Well, I'm just saying, you're really good at character design, so you just pump those out.
Character design is fun.
I'm speaking to your strengths.
Aw, thanks.
A lot of people spend a lot of time on trying to get the backgrounds right. And also, I think I don't know, the style isn't too, like, hyper-realistic either. Does that make any sense?
Oh, definitely. I don't know if I've had these rants with y'all before. I've definitely had them with, like, IRL and fellow artist DMA majors. But, like, I do not like photorealism. This is day 25. This is going to be shells. Kind of just based off of some fluffy moments. But, like, I've told other DMA students, like, I do not like photorealism at all. I don't like doing it. You know, I can do it, and I've done it before. Like, a few months ago, right before COVID hit, I did a commission for my boss where she had me do a photorealistic pencil sketch of her son's dog for his birthday. And I can totally do that. It takes much longer than I would prefer, and I don't like to, but I can. But it's no fun at all. Reflections and light is so hard. It's so hard to do reflections and light with photorealism. And the key trick to it is to not think of it as reflections and light, but think of it as just shapes and color. But it is very hard to turn on that switch in your brain. What's my favorite AU in the Ninjago fandom? Can I say two of them? I'm going to pick one of mine and then I'll pick a different one. Because the favorite AU of, I guess, mine and Mel's that we've done, honestly, out of sheer story potential, Soul Eater. Soul Eater is so much fun to me. I love Soul Eater. But for other people in the fandom, what's my favorite AU? God, there's so many. Damn it. Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Mel, thoughts?
on a favorite AU we've worked on together?
One that we've worked on together, or your favorite one, like, in the fandom?
I don't really know that many. I haven't seen that many of them in the fandom, besides the ones that we've made.
Yeah.
I know, it shows how active I am. I apologize.
Well, and that's, like, the hard part. Like, if you're...
What?
Like, that's the hard part. If you're constantly making them, like, it's you have to kind of remind yourself to go out and look at the other ones. I feel like I saw a fantastic one not that long ago that was just so good. Hell. Honestly, I don't even know if I have a favorite one. You
just know Soul Eater.
Well, yeah, I said Soul Eater for ours, but, like, in the fandom, you know?
I remember a few years back, a person I follow and occasionally catch up with, I can't remember. It's like R Pro or something like that. I can't remember how to say their account name. I apologize. They had like Ninjago no Sekai was their whole deal, and it was a redo of the whole plot, and I remember enjoying that. They also almost did. Or have you heard the show Blood Blockade Battlefront by chance?
I'm sorry, my brain turned off for that entire last sentence.
I apologize. I was lost in thought. I was like doing a thought process as I speak.
I was trying to read the comment from Cyber Searcher, but I was also trying to listen to you, and at the same time I'm trying to draw Jay's stupid face, and so my brain was just like, we're not working.
But okay, so my point is that a person I have been following for like 2 or 3 years now that used to do a lot of they did the thing when season 11 came out. Remember that screenshot of like the giant monster puking up the Nauticon teapot?
I don't know if I remember that.
Okay, so the episode where they were fighting the giant monster while they were stuck in the desert, and they like puke up. It was either Zane or Jay or someone. The Nauticon teapot was in there, and everybody was making a big deal out of it. And then this buddy of mine, like redid it, like with their character design for Jay, and it shows him just stamping it into the ground.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like do.
Ooh, you know what AU is my absolute favorite that's not ours?
What?
Pretty Penny Tavern on AO3. It's so good. It's like 46 chapters, and it started off as just like a one shot where like all the older kids were working at like some bar, and it evolved, and it's such good writing. I read it all in one afternoon that I definitely did not have to read.
Seeing an afternoon on fan fiction. Yup. That is the life. I did that more. I did that a lot during my time in April, when I was supposed to be studying.
Oh my god, man. Do not get me started. Like in high school, I would stay up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, like just, 123 chapter fic? I can read this before midnight, and it's already 12:03.
I would just get caught during my pre-calculus class reading.
Honestly, the only thing that saved me from doing it in class was the fact that we didn't have unlimited data until I was a senior in high school. Otherwise, your girl would not have passed calculus.
I had like a seat in the back for a while, and so I would just like position my notebook and other books so that you couldn't tell that I was reading instead of taking notes.
That's fantastic. No, my sister used to hate waking me up in the mornings because of, like, I didn't even speak English for the first, 30 minutes of being up, and Bella was the only one who would understand whatever it was that I was saying.
It's nice you had at least someone that understood you.
Oh, yeah. I would hope that she would understand me. You know, we only shared a room for 16 years.
That would be nice.
No, I love her. She's fantastic. She's the only one who knows that, Mom can see all of our bank accounts, so she knows I spent $130 at Target the other day. My sister is the only one who knows that $130 was spent on Legos.
They didn't see the giant Lego set and be like, how much did this cost, Rena?
Well, here's the thing. You remember me talking to you the other night about, like, my sister trying to talk me into getting a Lego set?
Right?
That was the Lego set that we were talking about. So she walks in, and I had bribed her, okay? While I was at Target, I saw this pair of pineapple earrings, which, fun fact, my sister fucking loves everything pineapple. Like, the current pineapple trend, her total aesthetic. She was so excited whenever that happened. And so I bought her this pretty pair of pineapple earrings. Try saying that 5 times fast. Yeah, it's a way to, like, bribe her, you know, keep quiet, don't tell mom and dad. Yes, that is very much what I meant by a bad money decision, Jake. I bought the land bounty on a whim because I was having a hard time.
I thought I helped convince you to go for it.
You definitely did. You were the reason that I bought the land bounty and not the $80 Prime Empire set.
Look, girls, look, she bought the sets with all of the minifigs except for Crazy Sushi Dude.
And
like, it's a cool set, but she had all of the little collectibles that came with it.
you want to know something shameful?
What?
Technically, I did buy Scott's car. I just bought it for my brother and not me. So at this point, I think the only Prime Empire things I have not gotten are, I think it's just the $80 set left.
Bravo, girl. You are an inspiration to us all.
Thanks. Mel does have a Tumblr. Mel, do you want to share your Tumblr?
Oh, yes, I do. Give me a minute. I'll open the stream up on my phone here in like 5 minutes. What was I gonna say? What you did with Prime Empire was what I did with season 7.
In my defense, I genuinely really enjoyed the Prime Empire season.
Hey, I enjoyed it as well. So, yeah, you were doing it because you really enjoyed the season. I was doing it because I knew season 7 was gonna be the last time I'd seen character. Your girl was bitter.
I'm sorry.
Very bitter.
Poor Mel. On the bright side, though, we have used season 7 along with scenes from season 4 to make a fantastic fan season. So,
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I 100% thank season 7 for everything to do with Empress of the Underworld.
can you believe it's been a year now?
It hasn't been a year. We came up with it in July.
Well, yeah, but, like, it's been a year since, like, you know, you walked up in my inbox and were like, what's good?
What's going on? I like your art. You want to, like, do this, sort of the Stranger thing for me?
Do you want to do this super obscure movie that you've never seen before but will fall in love with as soon as you watch it? Sure, Mel. What harm could come of it? 1 year later.
The harm that came of it was the fact that we became buddies.
Which, you know, it's only harmful to people who don't like angst, you know?
Exactly.
And yes, the $80 set is next. I'm just forcing myself to wait until my next paycheck. Which, because of my internship, now comes every 2 weeks instead of once a month, like with my school job. Which I'm so sad about, actually. This is my... July will be my last month working at my school job, which I've had for 3 years. And that's actually kind of a bummer.
It's okay, girl. You'll do great. Hey, wait. Question.
Huh.
So wait, the Prime Empire set that you want to get is $80?
I think so.
Oh my god, Prime Empire is just season 7 all over again. They had like 6 sets, and that was it, and the priciest set out of all of them was $80.
Listen, I got enough Prime Empire stuff that I took bits and pieces from some of the sets to give the one Cole minifig in the whole set his own little sword and health bar.
Oh yeah, that was the bummer with the $4 set, or with the $10 set. It's the fact that he doesn't get it.
I may or may not have stolen one from one of the J's that I got. JB, you're right. We did meet a year ago. Okay, so last summer was just like the best summer ever.
It was so much fun. Last summer I was just like, you gotta watch this movie, you gotta watch this movie, and this one. Don't stop, girl.
Mel is the reason I watched Lupin the Third, which was also just a fantastic decision, let me tell you.
Watch it. It's on Netflix, people. Please. Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro.
Watch it so that way, whenever we get a US release of the CGI movie, you can sit there and marvel at how well done a CGI remake can be.
I am, like, fingers crossed, like, a Hail Mary, pretty please, can the people who localized the movie get the Castle of Cagliostro cast back?
I hope so.
For the record, that was not my first Lupin. My first Lupin was a guy by the name of Sony Straight in a not-for-kids movie TV show called Lupin the Third, The Woman Called Fujiko Mine.
Oh, snap.
No. It's not for children. It is not for children. I do not recommend it to any child. No, like, this is for real. This is Lupin. So there are two shows, anime that I know of, that are the closest thing to HBO that I have ever seen. One of them is Black Lagoon, and the other is The Woman Called Fujiko Mine.
Dang. See, I too was an unsupervised child watching anime. But I think the worst one I ever watched, before I really should have, was Black Blood Brothers. Which,
I've never heard of this.
honestly, I think it's because it's unfinished and the first season makes no sense. With which it being the only season. Oh, thank you. with it being the only season is kind of bad. But it was definitely not for Black Blood Brothers. And it was definitely not for kids. And I was 12 whenever I watched it. Guess who almost forgot to give Jay his little face fins?
What was it about? I have to ask.
Vampires. Like, on the surface, it actually is really cool. And definitely was some inspiration for, like, some original stuff that I've got. As far as, like, the characters. But,
Oh, the dude with the red hat looks cool. Is he actually really bad?
he does look cool. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, this character's actually an awful person or anything. It got very sexual out of fucking nowhere.
Little network kid station.
And here's the thing. The key difference is I wasn't watching anime on Adult Swim whenever I should have been going to bed. I was watching whatever cool looking anime I could get my grubby little hands on whenever Netflix was so new. We were watching it on the Wii.
Oh, wow, that is new. Alright, let me pull this up. I didn't realize Funimation used to have so many shows on Netflix. It was the best time
It was
to be
so
alive.
nice. Which reminds me, after I finish my Avatar rewatch, it's going to be time for a Full Metal Alchemist rewatch.
Will you watch the original series?
I'm just so attached to Brotherhood.
Could you just watch the first 3 episodes?
Fine, I'll watch the first 3.
And you know, if you like it, you could keep going.
This is
Actually, the first 6.
the
are
first
like-
6.
The first 6. I mean, if you want to make it to 7 and end on a downer, like you could totally do that. But the first 6 episodes are so much fun. The Leora arc is split into 2 episodes, and then episode 3 is the backstory episode, and it's so good. It's handled so well. Oh man. Oh, and then episode 4 is really shitty. You can totally skip it. But episode 5 is a train ride, and it is the best thing ever. It was kicking ass, and he had this awesome purple shirt on.
I just finished watching She-Ra.
She-Ra. My researcher is with me.
I just finished it. Like I turned down a family rewatch of Avatar to finish it because my brother has no chill.
Isn't Avatar like still the #1 show on Netflix right now?
As it should be.
Alright, so I don't know how to get a link from my account from my cell phone, and I don't feel like logging back into it.
Just type in your user on the comments.
Well, no. That's a good idea. Why didn't I do that? Thanks, girl. 1, 8, 1, 2, 3. Excuse me.
So that's Mel's Tumblr.
You'll find all sorts of fun stuff and realize how much of a weeb I am.
And you'll also find like crazy shit about voice actors you didn't realize were in other things. Okay. Do you want to have your mind?
My favorite post of all time is Let Jay Curse 2019.
Do you guys want to have your mind blown? Because here's the thing. Mel had me watch Sword of the Stranger because Jay's voice actor plays one of the main characters in that movie. He plays the stranger. If you're watching the movie without knowing this, you cannot tell. The range is impressive. And yes, he's a voice actor. His entire career revolves around being able to do cool things with his voice. However, this is some crazy shit.
You cannot tell it is him. You just straight up cannot tell, except when he is yelling. I know, right? When Jay is yelling, you can tell it's Jay. But legitimately, he keeps his voice so low. It is impossible. It is impossible.
It's honestly ridiculous how well he's able to change his voice like that.
Oh, and then there are some other people in it. I believe 2 of the Dobsons, as in Wu and Ronan, play characters. You can totally tell who Wu's actor is the second he shows up. Oh, but the best part of Sword of the Stranger is that it proves that Jay and Nanakan were destined to fight for forever.
No, that's the wrong color.
So it proves that they were destined to fight for forever. Oh, but yes, please look up my Merjago voice actor fun. It is hilarious. You will be surprised also by Wu's actors' range, not in Sword of the Stranger, but in other things like Inuyasha and Escaflowne.
Yeah, if you ever want to have just your mind blown about your favorite characters, go talk to Mel. She knows where they've been. She knows what they've done. She will blow your mind.
Poor Mel. What are you talking about? Your art is awesome. How do I pronounce that?
I've been pronouncing it Domute, but I really don't know. Do not ask me.
Dumb. Yeah, no, I've liked your art in the past. I can't believe I didn't follow you sooner. Your stuff is great. Gotta scroll down and give out the link. just found a really sad one with Cole. He's on his knees in the snow holding the half of Zane's face that peeled off.
Oh, God bless. That's one of my favorite scenes ever.
So like I just want to stress that all of 85% of what happens in Ninjago sounds really flippin' bad.
It really does.
Because people make it bigger too.
Like, you're sitting here being like, oh yeah, Cole finding half of Zane's face. Like, to anyone else, that is cause for great concern. That's too brown and not enough red.
Oh man, it's times like this where I circle back to thinking about that Lego Elves TV show that Studio Mir did, and I'm just like, why couldn't Ninjago get that? I would have been totally fine with them recycling assets to the point where one of the characters looks like a literal recolor of Shiro. I'm not kidding, it looks just like it. I was losing my goddamn mind while I was watching it.
That sounds honestly hilarious.
It was hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong, it was, the show itself was, like, fine, whatever, like, typical kids fare that was better animated than you'd expect. And then, but all of the vehicles were CG Lego.
You're kidding me.
The sets, too. You have these, like, anime-inspired character designs in 2D, and then all of the vehicles, and, like, all of the things that are Lego sets that you can buy were in Lego form.
That sounds so disjointed. Whose idea was that?
What?
That sounds so, like, disjointed and jarring.
It was hilarious. 10 out of 10. Please look up the Lego Friends show. Or not Lego Friends, Lego Elves show on Netflix. It is 8 episodes.
Oh my god.
Like, there's a sad story in there. You know, ultimately the bad guy just wants to raise his mom from the dead because she got power hungry and kind of accidentally went to the underworld. And now he wants that power so he can bring her back, and it's like, oh, poor kiddo. That was my reaction to watching the show. My girls I babysat were like, what? We already watched this. They literally just animated the webisodes, but like anime.
Wow.
We were hoping for new material. I was like, well, put up with it for me. I haven't watched the webisodes.
That's way too many particles. What about this one? Okay, yes, that will be perfect.
They look so cute.
They're adorable and I love them. See, now those particles feel like there's too many of them.
Oh, remember how I was getting on your butt to try to get you to watch those free musicals that go up online every weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I totally screwed up and I missed out on watching the one that I wanted to watch more than anything.
Oh no, what'd you miss?
I missed Cats!
Oh no!
And this isn't the 2019 movie, this was the 1998 staged film version.
Oh, fuck.
With David Bowie impersonator playing the Rum Tum Tugger, and it was the best thing ever.
I'm so sorry you missed that. That sounds beautiful.
It's like you don't understand, Rita, like none of the other like recorded version make him sound like David Bowie. They make him like super British and posh sounding almost.
Mm-hmm.
Posh. But like in the movie, in like the stage show movie, he's just David Bowie.
That sounds fantastic.
I love the freckles you give Jay.
Thanks, it's what he deserves.
It's a headcanon of mine that the reason he never goes sleeveless is because he's self-conscious of those, thanks to you.
hell yes.
Well, because think about it. Aside from the beach, or aside from like the first episode of season 11, when does Jay ever go sleepless?
He really doesn't. And thank you, JB. That's really nice of you to say. But yeah, Jay really doesn't. Jay really doesn't do sleepless a whole lot, does he?
He doesn't. Like even Zane did it.
Even Zane did it. Zane showed off the robo arms.
When he was in disguise.
That is true, but this is also the same disguise where he went, screw it, I'm doing a leather vest. So, like, he got really invested in going undercover as a biker.
I wish I could have gotten that minifig.
Me too! Had I the patience, the resources, and the ability, I would make one.
Dude, you don't understand. The set it came with looked like literal carving.
Oh, was it awful?
At least in my opinion, it was supposed to be like, I don't even know what, maybe the Sons of Garmadon layer. It came with like 2 spinners. And it looked terrible to me. And I was just sitting there. I stared at it for like every single time I went into Target for so long. And I wanted to get it just for that minifig, but I was like, it's $40. I can't. And now it's gone.
That is the one thing that really sucks with, like, all these sets that we get. Like, we get so many of them that, you know, there's really no hope for recyclability, you know?
Oh, but there is hope for recyclability. It's called Legacy.
Do the legacy sets really count as recyclability, or are they just like, we're gonna release new stuff with different names? Or old stuff with new names?
A lot of, from what I've seen of it, is they update the original designs.
Gotcha.
So I remember way back in like 2012, 2013, Jay had his thing for the nunchucks, the jet, or whatever. And so they re-released, and so that's an example of something that got re-released and redone. Like, it wasn't, like, it was still the same core design, but they changed a couple things up.
Well, and I know we've all seen the stuff about, like, the Legacy Kid Lloyd coming out soon that has green eyes, which...
Yeah, it's like, trying to keep it all...
You can pry red-eyed baby Lloyd out of my cold, dead hands. He had red eyes as a kid, and I stand by that.
Guys, just remember, just keep telling yourself that they're contacts.
Oh, I forgot that, like, I was gonna work on that. We already had that one halfway worked on.
Wait, what?
Sorry, 5 different trains of thoughts happening at all times. Well, we just finished up Seashell. I forgot that we definitely did have, like, I was working on SOG member, like, several days ago.
Oh, right.
Like, it's already sketched out. It's such a weird interface. I want to know...
So I'm jealous of you because I have Asphira and you have her lackey dude.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Asphira is a cool character. I feel like they totally shortchanged her by putting her in only half a season.
Well, they shortchanged her because her whole motive was revenge. When it's like, what revenge? I thought her reasons for vengeance were bullcrap.
I mean, they were definitely, you know, kids show writing.
Yeah, but Ninjago's usually been above stupid misunderstanding revenge stories.
That is very true.
If you look at the Time
yeah.
Twins, I know season 7 is like considered one of the lower tier seasons, but you look at them and, you know, they had proper reason to be pissed off to them, you know?
Right. Yeah, you've got a good point there.
It's not like a technicality that was Asphira being mad at Wu for not telling her about forbidden jujitsu.
Which, like, if everyone who Wu kept secrets from got pissed at him, how quickly would that man die?
Oh man, that's my other favorite post where it's just like, I didn't know that this would come back to bite me. And it's just like, you didn't know that Garmadon would come back to bite you. You didn't know that the Time Twin or Moro would come back to bite you.
What absolutely gets me is that, like, out of everything he didn't know would come back to bite him, Moro is the only one that makes sense. And even then, it doesn't make sense for him to think that because he didn't know he was dead.
Oh my god, that is the worst thing, is that Wu didn't even know that Moro was in hell.
Moro was in hell. They sent a 14-year-old to hell in this show. Why is it for children?
The cursed realm.
It is definitely hell.
But if you don't call it hell, it isn't hell. Not like Garmadon was being tortured. Wait.
Oh yeah, he definitely met Dr. Julian. How have I never addressed this before? Wu definitely knew Zane's dad.
It's like, don't worry, Zane. We'll find your family one day.
Like, you ass, you know this.
He even told Zane, hey, maybe we'll meet again someday.
Okay, I used to think...
I like to think, what if Wu, after, when he was, like, traveling around, like, getting to Kai's place, what if he did stop by Julian's place to check out what the heck was up with Zane and why he was in an orphanage when he found him?
Honestly, like, why didn't Wu ever, take a look at that?
No, I'm gonna pretend he did that. Although this is the same guy who didn't run after a 10-year-old boy who ran away because he wanted to prove himself. This doesn't work.
Like, first of all, this same 10-year-old nearly got himself killed by multiple wild animals trying to prove that he was the Green Ninja, and you're just gonna let his happy ass waltz out of the monastery? Ground that bitch!
No, he's the parenting type to just let him go and hope he comes back.
That does not work. You want to know what that works on? Hallmark main characters. That's who that works on.
That Moro got incinerated.
He didn't... I don't know if it was incineration or if he just kind of got, like, dissolved.
Poisoned. It was it's up to the audience.
I mean, I definitely...
His neck was still intact, so maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was slowly poisoned over the course of 5 minutes.
Like, whenever he originally died?
Yes.
I think the official, quote-unquote, consensus is that he fell into a cavern full of poisonous gas.
Well, no, he was going through the Caves of Despair because he thought that's where the realm crystal was.
Yeah, I think, like, the official, like, something that's been tweeted, I want to say, story is that, like, he asphyxiated. And, I think what I've written in the past is that he fell and hurt himself so badly he couldn't get up.
Oh, maybe, like, some of the debris or something hit him. Because, like, that stuff was, like, exploding every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So, like, he could have protected himself, but then he could have gotten hurt from some of the debris.
Yeah, because overall, like, one, people should not be poking around those caves anyway. They're called the Caves of Despair, people. That's all but calling it Death Mountain. But also, he was, like, 14.
He was 14 at that point, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had, big Lego legs.
What was the thing he did that landed him in the Curse Realm? He messed with, like, the Sky Realm or something?
I have no idea. And it's still, like, one of the biggest problems that I have with current media is that there's some things where, like, you have to consume 5 different types of media to understand what's going on. Like, no!
I think it was explained in season 5.
I don't remember it saying anything about, like, how he wound up there.
To the Ninjago wiki. Let's see, biography.
But, like, one of my biggest pet peeves is whenever you have to consume, like, 5 different types of media to get a whole story.
Oh yeah, it's all a money game.
It is a money game, and that's what makes me mad. And it's probably because I like doing creative things, but damn it!
Arriving at the ancient library of Domu for answers, he discovered a passage referring to a cave in the deep and misinterpreting it as meaning journey to the caves of despair. This mistake would prove fatal. While exploring, he became trapped with a Kethenald geyser and was killed by the toxic gas. His spirit was then banished to the cursed realm for his actions, where he pledged his service to the preeminent.
You know, I want to know who makes these decisions about who gets banished to the cursed realm or not. Because I swear to God, if the first Spinjitzu master
sent his stepson into hell.
If the first Spinjitzu master was like, yes, this 14-year-old was incorrectly guided by my idiot son into thinking he was the chosen one, I'm sending him to hell for being weird. Like, that's a problem! I feel like Ninjago is one of those things where, like...
I think he did Cloud Kingdom, that's what it's called. Which is where, for the record, I think that Findia is going to be from.
Oh, yeah.
Her clothes.
She has Cloud Kingdom written all over her. Do you know how close I am to writing a Cloud Kingdom thing? Like, as I'm sitting there building the bounty, I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is something that could be incorporated into, like, a Cloud Kingdom thing. This has potential.
It is a kid's show, because you could not get away with this if they were...
Okay, may have been an annoying as hell 14-year-old, but I didn't deserve to actually go to hell. Okay, Ninjago in the first Spinjitzu Master, because of the first Spinjitzu Master and all the shit that his family has had to go through, I feel like Ninjago is one of the only shows that are like, a character would say, you know, I'm gonna fist fight God. And I would be like, yeah, that's logical. This is one of my favorite scenes because it makes Lloyd look all cool and badass as he walks away. And, like, he doesn't even know what shit is about to hit the fan.
I don't think that the first Spinjitzu Master could have cured his son, because if he could have, then he would have.
Mal, you look me in the eyes and you tell me he would have.
He would have.
Would he have? Would he have? His kids were so scared of telling him that they threw a sword over the wall that one of them climbed over and got bit by a snake in wildly escalating circumstances.
Spinjitzu. I guess.
Listen.
It didn't seem like the first Spinjitzu Master had that much power in the end.
He made a whole ass realm.
That's what I mean. He spent it making a realm and then like locking away evil for X amount of years.
Okay, that's a good point, and that's a good theory. Can somebody call the writers and tell them to hire Mel already?
Well, because think about it. Like, the story goes that the Overlord showed up right after the Ninjago was created, right? He created a whole ass realm that had to have taken something out of him.
It better have, because otherwise, I don't see... many redeeming qualities showing up.
look, Professor Spinuzzi Master was probably not a good guy, but I am justifying some of his actions, like the fact that he was unable to prevent the fact that his 10-year-olds had to, or at least 10-year-olds in the head, had to step in and be like, hey, maybe we should stop this.
Yeah, see, he seems largely useless, and I don't know if it's because we want to keep the mystery surrounding him or whatever, but he seems largely useless at best and actively detrimental at worst.
He died in a cave.
And I choose to think it's because he said, you know what? Being immortal is boring. I'm done. This overlord dude showed up like 6 years ago. My sons are old enough that I don't have to actively protect them from swords anymore. Yeah, fuck it. And just left. He laid down, closed his eyes, and when he woke up, he was in a blank space and was like, this seems like a nice place for a departed realm. I'm gonna set up shop right here, grab the popcorn, and watch my grandson be traumatized.
I almost wonder if he died, if he like set out like right after Garmadon when he got bit or whatever, like just feeling like an utter failure that he couldn't protect his son, you know?
I mean, that's highly possible, but honestly, I can't help but wonder if Garmadon didn't pull a Moro. Because, like, we don't ever actually see, you know, the moment Garmadon says, screw you, I'm gonna go study under Chen. But I can't help but wonder if Garmadon pulled a Moro and just said fuck it and left.
That would be amazing. Wu was left all alone at home, and then his dad ditched like 2 days later.
No wonder he took in some random kid going through the trash. Old man's used to having all this, you know, family around, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Y'all could have at least gotten him a dog, for God's sake.
He got him a chicken.
Oh my god, let me tell you right now, chickens, whenever you first get them, are not great for companionship, okay? You think about them funny and they go, "Rah!" and run away.
I was trying to make a funny joke with the lightning chicken, but okay.
My bad. I'm low-key obsessed with chickens now. I have a favorite. Her name is Goldie. She's a treasure and an asshole. She keeps escaping the pen, and she taught all of her sisters how to do it.
Okay, I gotta go for a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Alright, see you in a minute.
Bye.
That's my superpower cap. I can do this for 3 hours. Probably could do it for longer, but that would not be advisable. Who am I kidding? It's Friday. I keep thinking it's Saturday. I want it to be Saturday, I think. So, God, chickens are so stupid. Yeah, she might be similar to a cat. I think the problem is I kept, like, picking her up out of the pen. And whenever they got to where the perches we put in there for them weren't high enough or to their liking anymore, she started perching on the chicken wire that we had put up to keep them in there because, hey, they're babies, right? They should stay in there. And she weighed down the fucking chicken wire until it was bent over enough for her to use it as a perch. And then she decided, hey, you know what's better than chicken wire perch? Getting out and running around the yard. So once she figured out how to do that, she taught her sisters how to do it. And now every time I go to the backyard, I have to chase down chickens and put them all back in their little cage.
Oh, that sucks. I got the last bit.
You're good. And yes, JB, Sunday is going to be so fantastic. Sunday, I finally get to start doing D&D again. Do y'all know how excited I am for that?
God. Very.
I haven't done D&D in, like, since before Corona. Because here's the thing. Whenever spring break hit, even before my college said, hey, we're not coming back, my D&D group had said, hey, since there's going to be some of us out of town for spring break and all that, we're just not going to meet until after we come back. And we were all cool with it, you know? Respect the needs of the group, right? And then COVID happened. And I have not been able to play as my tiefling for so long. I play a tiefling rogue, and she's a bitch and I love her.
Long ago, Rena was able to play D&D in harmony as a tiefling, but then everything changed when the COVID attacked.
You know what? Lloyd's totally wearing his mom's boots right now. That's a thing. I wanted to have him wearing something of Misako's, but I couldn't decide what it was. He's wearing her boots.
Aw, he's got girl feet.
He does. It's because he's small.
Garm is just like, your mother would have wanted you to have these. Her shoe?
Poor Lloyd.
Lloyd, what are shoes?
Lloyd would walk out on deck like the very first day barefoot, get a splinter, and be just appalled. What do you mean?
No, Lloyd would be like the main character in The Croods when the guy gives her shoes for the first time. He's like, I love them. Where are my feet?
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gents, I don't know who you guys are watching. I want to share with you my idea for if Vanya turns out to be a Cole's girlfriend, which I am 80% sure that's gonna happen. What if it's I won't say I'm in love from Hercules, but with Vanya.
That would be so much fun, and if it winds up fitting her, we're doing it.
I would die. I would die if it fit perfectly. I'd be like, yes, please. And have all of the other girls serve as backup.
Guys, here's the thing. I want to go ahead and just kind of put the lid on this real quick. How do I phrase this? I don't think it is outside the realm of possibility that they're going to give Cole a love interest. I'm going to be real with y'all. Whenever I first started watching Ninjago and I saw the direction that some of the earlier seasons went, I was surprised Cole didn't have one yet. And then, you see the stuff with Celiel, and you see the stuff in the comics, and I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. Cole's a minor character, and that's what happens. That being said, I don't want to say I don't care, because that's not entirely accurate. I do care, and I do think it's dumb that studios have such a hard time with LGBT and with kids programming. I think it's stupid. However, it is important to recognize that as much as we may love this show, it is first and foremost a toy commercial, meaning they want it to be as marketable as humanly possible. They're not. We can read things into it. We can have fun. We can do all that we want to. At the end of the day, the studio is going to do what it wants with the property. And it's going to do what it thinks will be most marketable for the property. That being said, I don't think it's right to only stick to one type of representation, especially whenever it comes to innocent things like romantic attraction or, you know, non-explicit sexual stuff. But again, this is, you know, you read the stuff about She-Ra and like the pure fight that had to go into that for every single thing that they did. This is not stuff that you just randomly get to add in because we're doing a season about this character now. If they ever did do, you know, a gay character in Lego, it's not going to be one of the main characters at first. They're just not going to do it. It's frustrating. You are free to be mad about it. What I do ask is that if someone's talking about it and someone's excited, which, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be upfront. I'm excited with the idea of somebody being introduced for Cole, if only because that's another character. And if they're being introduced for him like that, hopefully it's not going to be, you know, a Harumi or an Akita where they stick around for one season and they're gone. Hopefully what it means is we get another fun girl character that gets to stick around for a while. But like...
I want another Pixel.
God, I would love another Pixel. But like, trashing the camp and I don't want to say being overreactive. I don't think that's fair. But trashing the camp and being wholly negative about it because we as a fandom have built a persona around this character, I don't think that's fair. Yeah, be mad about it. Tell Lego you're mad about it. Tell Lego you think it's stupid. But whenever it comes to interacting with fans didn't make these decisions. Some of us are just rolling with them. And again, be mad about it. But make sure you're being mad to the right people is the big thing. You know? Fans don't necessarily make the decisions. And even then, writers may make decisions that the executives hammer down and say, no, you're not allowed to do that. If, like, you are totally valid in being upset about it, I'm not invalidating that. Just make sure that you're directing that negativity towards the right person.
Good words, Rena. Thanks for...
I gotta back up my bro.
Thank you. And if I have to be the one person that's excited for the romantic prospects, I shall be. Kelly Sheridan. Or if that's how you say her name right. If she plays the girl, it'll be perfect. Anyway.
You just want an Escaflowne reunion.
Yes, I do. Hey, it would have just been Escaflowne. They were, I forget, did you watch Inuyasha?
I've watched like a season and a half of Inuyasha, and whenever I do watch it, I enjoy it. It's just not always first on my list.
Do you remember girl? Who was a demon hunter?
Oh, yes, I do remember her. I don't remember her voice, but I remember that character.
Well, that was Miss Escaflowne girl, and then her major love interest for the whole series was the monk dude with the wind tunnel in his hand, Moroku. And those are also the Escaflowne pair, Kirby and Kelly.
Gotcha.
So they have a long track history of playing romantic pairs, and I want this to continue into Ninjago. Maybe here's one that I think you might remember. Barbie Nutcracker.
Oh, yeah, I do remember you talking about that.
Yes, the Nutcracker, along with Barbie, Kirby, and Kelly.
I remember whenever, like, right as the time you were telling me this, someone else discovered that, and they definitely made, like, a whole Ninjago AU.
Nice.
It was very much Glacier, and it was very gay.
It was Glacier, of course it was. Well, because, I mean, Kelly's current person is definitely an adult in the show, so it would be weird. He plays Gail Gossip. OTP, just JK.
Oh my god. The cursed things we discuss on this show. I'm a YouTube show. The cursed things we discuss on this stream.
I'm just, look, it's a lot of voice actor fun. Oh, you want to watch an anime with all of the Ninjago voice actors in it? Even, like, for just quick cameos for the part of Kirby? Watch Gintama. Kai and Jay play Samurai Cop.
Okay, that sounds hilarious.
Rain is still a ninja.
That's fantastic, and I love it.
And Colt plays the gender-bent version of one of the characters.
Oh, snap.
There's like a whole 3-episode arc dedicated to all of the characters turning in or getting gender bent. Oh, it cracks me up.
And now we have Lloyd looking like a total badass walking away from Harumi. And he does not know that he's gonna get his shit wrecked so bad in like the next 20 minutes.
Oh, poor little Lloyd.
Rest in pieces,
I
Lloyd.
guess he likes his legs. Considering he can so confidently walk away.
Right? Like, strut that stuff, man. It's because I only know how to draw someone from the back from a single angle, and it is walking away dramatically.
Nice. Hey, it works.
Well, it is getting up on the 3-hour mark, so I think I'm gonna call it, because 3 hours is usually my limit with these things. And we got a good 4 days ahead, which saves my ass on Merjago. And hopefully we'll be able to get back into a better schedule. I feel like I was streaming almost every day for a while and then abruptly cut off. My excuse for that is last week I started a 3-week college course, which means class every single day, along with videos that I have to watch. And I started a new internship, which means I technically have 2 jobs right now. So that is eating up my schedule time all the time. But hopefully I will be able to take a look at that. Who knows? My new streaming schedule may just have to be Friday nights and weekends. But, you know, one of the things on my never-ending list is to figure out scheduling for this. Without further ado, I'm gonna